Hi, everyone, and thank you for
Hello.
joining us tonight. Hi. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And my name is Kate Hateva. I'm a founder of Career Pathway Institute. We are nonprofit organizations that help internationals to move forward with their career here in the US. And today we have a very special live stream. Um, and before we are going to the live stream, I want to say huge thanks to all my team who is behind the screen, who are helping us to move forward with our nonprofit, Dima, Lana, Sveta, Anna, Jenny, and the rest of the team. Hi, and thank you so much. And if you want to join our community, just read the links below this video and you will find all the links to our social media. And if you want to join our team, also please feel free to message me on LinkedIn, on other social media, and we can talk. So today we have a very unusual format for our channel. It's a fireside chat with extraordinary women who recently got their extraordinary ability visa here in the US. And we're going to talk about their journey, how they did it, how they moved to the US. And they will be sharing their stories. And also we're going to talk about leadership traits, mindset, and other interesting topics. And you will be able to ask your questions. So please feel free to ask anything you want, and we will show your questions on the screen, and we will be answering your questions. So today is March 9, and yesterday we were celebrating International Women's Day. And when I got an invitation to participate at panel discussion at Bechtel International Center at Stanford, something clicked in my mind, and I decided we need to do something like that for our audience. And I decided to invite my talented, extraordinary friends to talk about their achievements and how we're going to celebrate it today. So let me briefly introduce my friends, my talented friends. So the first is Anna Lishkevich. She is from Belarus as me, so we are kind of neighbors. And Anna, she is a neurosurgeon with more than 10 years of experience of clinical and research experience in the field of neurosurgery and neuroscience. And she is currently working as a neurobiologist in a scientific lab in the US. And also, Anna, she's a very talented, she's professional certified coach, and she's a neuro coach. So thank you, Anna, for joining us.
Thank you.
My next talented friend is Vera Maslova, and she's seasoned executive. She's a producer, a community builder with more than 10 years of experience in art and science management. She's also a co-founder and CEO of Science Me, and it's a science and art education project with more than 50,000 participants that aims to foster deeper connection between businesses and scientific and artistic societies. And when we was sharing that we're gonna have this live stream with our audience, with our friends, I got a message from my professor at Stanford. You know Vera? That was incredible because I think everybody knows Vera here in Silicon Valley. She's super connector. We need to do a separate stream just to ask her how she's doing that. That less than a year, everybody knows who is Vera. And another very talented and special guest today is Anna Sergeyenko. And Anna, she is a ballroom dancer with more than 15 years of experience. She's a winner of dozens of international and domestic competitions. She's a finalist of the European Championship and runner-up in national championship. She's also a member of national team of Israel, and she is a co-founder of field dance team where she teach people of all ages how to dance. And a very fun fact about Anna that she is also a PhD student with artificial intelligence field. So she didn't wanted to mention that, but I'm sorry, I need to tell that you're not only a dancer, but you're also a scientist and a very popular field right now. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And without further ado, let's start. So my first question is a very tricky question. So now when it's official on paper, you have a proof that you're extraordinary ability visa holder. So how do you feel about it? Do you consider yourself extraordinary? Who
I
wants
can actually start. I can start. Yes, now I do, but quite frankly, like several years ago, I think I used to have this imposter syndrome, and I had some doubts about my talents, skills, accomplishments, and yes, I worked a lot, worked on my mindset and psychology to trust my talents. Like finally, but now I'm enjoying this feeling of gratitude about everything I've done, about people who believed in me, and now I feel so happy that I'm here, and I'm blissfully happy to participate tonight in this event with such wonderful people around me. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
that's quite
you.
interesting because when it comes to me, I guess I still didn't feel myself like that extraordinary. Then I started to prepare the case. Like there's this name on this paper, extraordinary visa, and you're like, oh my God, I'm for sure not extraordinary. But when you prepare your case, you talk with people, you just remember all the things that you did and you combine it, and like, oh yeah, I can get this visa. So now, thanks to my United States community, a lot of people who support me and like remind me, oh my God, you got this visa, you're extraordinary. I'm like, oh yeah, I again forgot about it.
So Vera, what's about you?
Yeah, I don't feel inside me that I'm extraordinary, but as mentioned, Anna, I think I'm feeling, I don't know, excited when somebody is asking, like, what kind of visa you have? And I'm saying, oh, that's extraordinary. And I'm feeling a little bit like blushed and still thinking, really? Is it you? So I'm still can't say that I'm like 100% there, but I'm feeling much more confident when I got the visa.
Wow. I have another question following this one about extraordinary, about being extraordinary. So, back at the time when you just started your career, like 10, 15 years ago, have you ever thought or could you ever imagine that you will get your extraordinary ability visa in the US? Like, have you ever considered that? Anna, Anya.
Yeah.
I'm thinking because like from my like I actually didn't consider to move to United States at all. And I didn't know about the visa, I didn't know about anything. What I just did last year, I talked to the lawyers and like, well, they explain who you are. And like, oh, I'm a ballroom dancer, so I've been dancing for long. And we're like, well, okay, it seems that you can get O1 visa. And I'm like, yes, probably I can get it. What is it like extraordinary? I'm not sure that I'm extraordinary because I've been doing it for 15 years, and it became like normal for me. That yes, I'm a dancer. So it was a really shock that I can actually be able to get this visa and to move to the United States. So it was more like a spontaneous decision for me. So no, for me, no idea that 15 years ago I would go to the United States with this visa. No idea.
Wow.
I I can also share my thoughts about this. I wanted to move to the United States. I had this dream because when I was a student, like 12 and 13 years ago, I participated in a work and travel student program. This was my first time of visiting in the United States. And I enjoyed this feeling of inner freedom I had while I was here. And I always wanted to come back. But to be honest, I didn't think that I will be able to enter the United States and to come back as a person who will get this extraordinary visa stamp in my passport. Yes, that's actually really cool. And but looking back to my like background and everything I've done, I can see that like sometimes I think like the whole my life was like for this moment. So all my connections, everything I've done, everything I was trying to achieve and my achievement, my accomplishment, that it's really helped me on this way to get the visa. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Vera, what about you?
For me, the same. I never was thinking moving here, but I remember myself listening to the song. Maybe you know this Mackenzie. If you're going to San
Oh
Francisco,
yeah.
Of course.
it was one of my favorite. And I remember with my friend, we were sitting in the car drinking. It was like 1 a.m. He also moved here. And we're saying, can you imagine we can live in San Francisco and have fun? He said, yeah, we can do that. It was like about 1, 2 years ago. It was like a joke, I would say. So, and even still now, sometimes I don't believe that I'm here. Like I'm trying to punch myself down. Really? Are you here? So, yeah, I would never tell myself, but I really loved Anna how she explained that now you feel like everything that you have done and worked on and believed in that helped you, or maybe that was like a kind of preparation to be there and to use your skills like 100% and your all your opportunities and mindset and everything. So now I'm feeling like my past was preparing me for the present.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
cool.
so it
You know
looks,
what? By the way, I was listening to this song about San Francisco, sitting in my car last year, and I was dreaming about San Francisco. And also, I subscribed to some pages, accounts on Instagram because I wanted to watch pictures from San Francisco in while I was scrolling my social media.
We were
And
connected, Anna, at that time. See the universe.
that's true. That's the point. Yeah.
so it feels like at some point all the pieces of the puzzle they just put together and now you have a full picture. Now you have the visa,
Uh,
extraordinary ability visa.
that's
So,
true.
talking about your career path, was it easy for you to get the visa, or there was some struggles, or at some point you decided, oh, it's too hard, I don't want to do it. So, can you share your journey, how it was for you,
Okay,
Anya?
maybe. Yeah. I will also start to explain. Actually, when I worked as a neurosurgeon in my country in Belarus, so I had, as you can assume, very highly stressful job, and I worked under the enormous pressure in male-dominated surrounding, and I competed with men, and I had super ambitious goals all the time, but it built me my stamina and my dedication to my goal. That's why probably for me this way of getting this kind of visa wasn't so tough and hard. I mean, physically it wasn't. Maybe mentally I had to focus on. I had to collect all the publications I had. I had to think about everything I've done and to together these things like all together in one folder, and that's probably was the most difficult part. But honestly, yeah, I think that I had much more stress previously, and now I'm less stressed, and I'm pretty happy about it. So it's not so hard as you probably think it could be. So if you are thinking about getting this type of visa, it's possible. It's definitely possible. So like, just go ahead.
Wow, it looks so easy when you're talking about that, but I'm pretty sure there was some like barriers and some um, at some point you decided, oh, it's too stressful, like too hard, or it wasn't like that.
I guess for me that was because when you apply for
Oh,
visas, how the structure procedure goes, you apply for visa and you can apply for either like to wait long, or you can apply for premium processing, which is like cost some money. And I applied for it. So the UCIS, the service, had to provide me the answer if I get the visa or not within 15 days. And sometimes they do not have enough time. I don't know what happens, but they give you these free awful letters or free request for evidence, which requires with your not yet extraordinary, and you have to add more documents, you have to give more proof. And at this time, that was really scary for me, and I was like feeling frustrated. I don't know. I called my lawyers, like, what's going on? Why? What happened? And they started like, okay, Anna, it's fine. We will send them the back letters, so everything's gonna be fine. So at this point, I was really scared, and I felt like, no, I don't want to do this because I'm not extraordinary at all. But then you send them a letter, and they like, okay, now you're extraordinary. Fine. It was the happiest, I guess, moment in my life for the past year.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So Vera, was it hard for you? Or was it
I
relatively easy?
emotionally it was very stressful, and also I was like, actually today is 1 year that I moved to the States, so it
Oh,
was
wow.
March. Yeah, I was counting that, and I would say it was stressful. I think for everyone at this period of time, especially spring and summer, because you don't know anything. It's hard to plan anything, and for me, it was so stressful to make a decision. And I understood that even not making decision means a decision. So it's better to try and to fail than not to try. But I would say making the step forward was quite difficult. It was, I mean, emotionally, I understood that I'm changing my life. And being easy in this moment is rather hard because you understand if no, you would lose money, and at that time it was like a lot of money. I asked loans of my dear ones, and yeah, so I would say it was it. I would say when you're already in and you sign the contract with the lawyer, it's kind of a bit easier because you already like have done the decision. But before that was very stressful for me.
Wow. I think the hardest part is just to make a decision, and sometimes tough decisions that make our life easier, and never made decision or half decisions they make our life like horrible. I know that Anya, she has a quite fascinating story about making decision. Can you share with us how you make decision that okay, yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try this opportunity.
You know, that's actually my favorite topic about decision making. Like, because I think that all our life, it's the result of our decisions and consequences of our decisions. And yes, actually, I came to the United States for neurosurgical training. I won a grant for neurosurgical courses. I applied a couple of years ago, and finally, I've got the message that I was selected. I was extremely happy, and that was the way how I got the opportunity to open visa. And I completed this training in the United States, and then I went to the scientific conference. And at the conference, I've met a person who was very excited about my microsurgical skills, and he offered me to implement my skills in his scientific lab. Because I have a very good skill of hand and eye coordination while working with the microscope. And yes, really, it's yeah, I understood that I could be a good member of their team and scientific lab, but for me it was a tough decision because I needed to quit from my previous job. And so basically I understood that if I'll do it now, so I'm starting from clear page in my life, and it was really tough, especially because I left my close people, my surrounding, everything I liked and I enjoyed in my home country. And yes, it was extremely tough. But when I make decisions, I follow this rule to choose something ambitious, something unusual, like, yeah, extraordinary, something interesting. I wanted to do something new, and I wanted this feeling of freedom. And I wanted to try to go with the path which is not very well traveled. And it was very exciting for me, and I decided to face with this fear of uncertainty and to go through this experience, and that's what I've done. It wasn't hard. It wasn't easy, of course. It was really hard, especially in the beginning. But I thought that it's like a chess game. So you maybe like a gambit in a chess game. So you think that you like sacrifice something in the beginning or make a step back, but in the long run you really make a huge step forward, and your speed will increase like a rocket. And that's what happened actually.
Wow, that's very impressive story. When I heard it for the first time, I was thinking, what the courage! Like how many, the courage she has just to trust to herself that she's actually can do it all by herself, being alone here without any network, without friends, and just in a couple of months, she already have a visa. That's incredible.
Miracles happens.
Yeah, when you believe in yourself and that you're capable for. Anna, you mentioned something interesting, that it was quite easy for you to make a decision, that you decided, okay, why not? How you made a decision that, okay, I'm gonna try it?
I don't know how it happened, but to be true, I never liked United States. I don't know what changed, but I came here usually here as a tourist. And just once I came to California, and here I have some friends who live here. And I don't know, probably I fell in love with California, probably with San Francisco Bay Area where I live right now. I don't know, like people, I don't know, food, I don't know, restaurants, everything, social life, which I really love right now here. And so that's why I don't know, like I decided I want to immigrate, and I probably can do this to the United States. And I guess it's the best place to immigrate. So why not? Why not go here? Yes, it was like that.
Wow, but why not? Why not
Yes.
California? Well, thanks for sharing. Vera, how it was for you? How you made the decision that, okay, San Francisco is my hometown now?
So I'm also close to the stories. I left Russia to make the vaccine to Bulgaria. It was 22nd of February because I knew my tourist visa is going to expire in March. And I thought I would make a vaccine, I would go back to Moscow, then I would just travel to California for 2 weeks and just be back. So I never came back.
1 year passed.
So I had just a small suitcase with me. And I'm always, I wanted to share actually with you because I have a mood board that I had in Russian. I made it 2 years ago. And it's like, here it's like different phrases in English. And,
Wow.
and there is one phrase like this one that I like very much. In the waves of change, we find our direction. And I think that's actually, I feel that way. You know, sometimes you have a mood board and you like you are talking to yourself, and then I thought, oh, I'm in the waves. But it's very hard to listen to your inner voice, what you really want, especially when it's so much stress around and everyone is saying different things, and even the people that you trust. But I thought, yeah, like I always was thinking that I want to live for some period of time abroad. I want to scale my startup. I want to try more. I want to challenge myself more. So I thought maybe the universe is giving me opportunities to try that. Why I shouldn't try? Maybe I would not have this opportunity, I don't know, in a year. And so I just thought to take a risk and I bought the ticket to San Francisco. So then everything happened. Yeah, so that's my story, how I made the decision.
I just bought a ticket to San Francisco.
Remember, actually, because at that moment, all the blocks, all our cars were blocked. and like all the Russians were with cash. So I thought if someone would know and I would get robbed, there's even no way to put money. So I put some cash in my boots. I would never forget ever in my life. I thought, oh, that's fun.
Wow, what a story.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
that's important to take a risk sometimes. Like nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yes.
So we have to.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, and sometimes it's also about unconscious decisions when when you put something on the mood board, or you write down in your diary, or you're just not only visualizing in your mind, but you also put it somewhere. And I don't know how this miracles works. Maybe Anna can explain it with this neurobiology and all this stuff, but probably we just thinking about it unconsciously, and it lead us to like to make decisions. And it feel that it was so easy for us to make those decisions, but it was like like step by step, like baby steps, but we was going towards these goals.
Mhm.
And actually we have a first question. People asking, they're wondering, what does it take to get this type of visa? Do you need to show a proof of special talent? So who has like a huge case like this of papers showing all the proofs that okay, you are officially extraordinary? And how big was your case?
I guess it was very big. Like when I talked to my lawyers, they said that this was 300 papers that we sent to the service. Yes, because I had a lot of recommendations, a lot of awards, translation of these awards, and other stuff. Yes, a lot of them, a lot of them. But actually, you just need to fulfill, as I remember, 3 out of 10 criteria, and to show that you are extraordinary. So actually, it's not that hard, I guess. What do you say? I don't know. Like, what's from your experience?
Vera, how it was for you? How many proofs did you had that you are extraordinary?
So, when I was trying to decide with what lawyer I want to work with, um, I was preparing my resume and I was trying to remember everything that I had. It's quite tough, I would say, because you don't remember. And I mean, it's not that I was not collecting it anywhere in the folder. Oh, my words. So I was trying to think, oh, what was in my past that maybe can fit the criteria. And I was very happy because all the lawyers said you were fine, you would do that. Like with O1, it's 95% you would get there. So they told me like 5 criteria from the 7
Oh wow.
that like you fit them. So just to mention what kind of them are, that's one of them is rewards that Anna said. It's if you are in a commission in somewhere, and I was there, like I was in Moscow State University for final exams in philosophy in commission. So I had a paper. I was in some accelerators, and I received all the papers for that. So there are one of the criteria is articles from your authorship, and fortunately, I was a researcher and I have like academic background, so I had more than 30 articles. And I was happy that it was useful because I think you are writing them and nobody is reading this, but finally it helps you with visa. I was so happy about it. And another criteria was about you or your project. And also I had this. So why my case was rather quick because I already had everything. It's what we talked before that your past help you with the present. So like I was on television and there were articles about science me about myself, but I was collecting all the links and everything because you don't have it. Some links are not working and some are blocked. So it takes time to prepare. I would say everything. Yeah, recommendation letters, so that's what you work on. Yeah, so it was 3 months for me to prepare everything, but I had a deadline because my tourist status would change. And that's good because I'm not good with deadlines. it's also good for me to have deadline, and I knew that deadline, like, oh, I can't change anything, so I should do that.
Wow. Thank you so
I
much for sharing.
just can add that I'm really grateful to my lawyers. They helped me a lot. And when I was like checking the final petition for applying, I was like, oh wow, is it me? I'm such a great one. Yeah, but of course it was tough way, let's say, and lawyers helped me a lot. I will say it again. And what was maybe uh, the very important part of my case were recommendation letters, and that's about actually making the right connections in the right time. When I was thinking about people who can sign me these recommendation letters, I also did a huge job of analyzing all my, like, let's say, power map people who have some influence in the field. And yeah, and then the second part was like not be afraid to ask these people for signing the letter, because some of them are really super cool. All of them are really super cool, like world-known professionals, professors in the field in the United States and Europe. And I'm so glad that they helped me. They said, of course we do. We know you are a talented, wonderful person, and I'm really happy for their support. And yeah, I met 6 criteria out of 9, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, I had these and recommendations, strong recommendation letters as well. It's really important for the case. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you also mentioned when we was talking outside the live stream that at every conference you try to connect with some professional in your field. So
Sure.
later it pay off, and those people they was willing to sign recommendation letter for you.
Yeah. That's about building a power map, about lasting and valuable connections in your life. So networking is a superpower of moving forward. And I used to be an introvert, and I always thought that I'm such a strong introvert, and for me it's really hard to come to the person and to start talking to them. I can easily talk in front of the public from the stage, but to come to the person and say, like, hi, I'm Anna, how are you, like, nice to meet you, for me it's tricky, it's challenging, but at the same time it really helps. And you can develop it like a habit. If you start doing it, you like start facing your fear and you start doing it, like, practice makes perfect. More you are doing, the more confident you feel in this way. And yeah, connections are extremely important in getting talented visa as well.
Yeah, that's so true. The power of network. Actually, talking about how to get visa and about lawyers, like, is it possible to get this visa without a lawyer? Like, do you have any experience, maybe from people who you know? Maybe somebody get the visa without lawyers and they prepare the case completely themselves.
I do not know anyone who got visa without lawyer actually. And I'd say that they're really important, especially if it is like your first visa of this type, because of course it also depends on your fluency in English. But for example, lawyers for me, they helped me a lot with the petition letter, with agreement, with a recommendation letter. So they also help to write it. And because when I tried to write it, it was just like, oh my God, you cannot read it. But they helped me a lot. So from my point of view, it's really important to get lawyers because they also guide you through this process. And sometimes they point you on things that you couldn't even imagine. Like, I don't know, for example, they persuaded me, I don't know, to write to a newspaper because I didn't have applications of me in newspaper or on any magazine, which is partly required. And lawyers like, well, you can go and just ask them to publish you a newspaper. And I'm like, is it possible? We're just like, yeah. So there are a lot of these tricks then you can lawyers can tell you. So I guess it's important to get a lawyer.
Yeah, I think they are playing very crucial role in preparing your case and be successful. Yeah.
I just can share some information that it's actually possible to do everything by yourself. And I know some services which even can help with consultations. I mean, they can provide you with the information and you just work on your own, especially when you're trying to prepare EB1 case. But that's very, very risky. And lawyers, they do really know what immigration services want to see in front of their eyes when they are reading their case. Because lawyers have such a huge experience, they know which phrases are good to write in petition, which words you should use in recommendation letters. And there are some subtle tricks that they know and you don't because you work on your own and you are not experienced in this field. Though to make sure that everything will be fine, it's better from my point of view to invest in the help of the lawyers and like feel safe on this way because that's if you will get the deny it will be so sad. I mean, it's better to think that you've done everything you could. So you did like 100% of efforts, and that's about lawyers' help. It's really worth it. So yeah, even though it's expensive, of course, yeah.
Yeah. But I also think that you can't completely rely on lawyers. You also need to do your homework. You also need to do your part of the job and control what they are doing and
I
be
would say it's 70%
involved.
of your work. Like your work is even more than the Lord's. Be
Yeah.
prepared for that. That if you're making this decision, you're into it, you're giving this time and all the resources that you have just to be prepared for that. It's not that like you pay for the lawyer, then you just like
Chill.
get relaxed. No, unfortunately not. I know
Yeah.
one person, she did it by herself, but I just think it's like in society. I would say there are maybe 2-3%. They're kind of more thinkers. They love documents. They like to check contracts. Like I sometimes I see these people. I'm just not a person like this. I think if you are, if you love just to dig in, to check like all the cases, the contracts, and you were like this. So, and you love paperwork and everything and analyzing. So maybe there is a chance, but I'm on the page of Anna. I think it's just too risky, and it's just better to be safe.
Yeah. So I have another questions from the audience. What are the advantages of this type of visa? What was your decision process like pros and cons? Did you had any other options like apart the O1 visa? Maybe there was another. I know that EB1 visa sometimes it's easier way just to apply for the green card directly. Like
Yeah, the biggest advantage of the EB1A visa or different types of these extraordinary visas is like an opportunity to get the green card very soon. But it's really hard to get them. And O1 visa has the same criteria as EB1, but it's a little bit easier maybe to get, but still it's hard, but a little bit easier than immigration type of visa. And that's what is also good that getting an O1 visa opens you an opportunity to get EB1 visa in the future. But if you will try to apply to EB1 at first and you'll get the deny, so you won't be able to apply for O1. It doesn't work like vice versa, unfortunately. So and what else? That's an opportunity to get this type of visa very quickly. You can pay for preliminary process, and they will look at your case within 15 working days. It's really cool. And what else? Also, I like about this visa because it's like a privileged type of visa. When you tell someone like I'm having like O1 or like EB1, people who knows they really like, oh wow,
Wow.
that's so great, you're so wonderful, and I feel like, oh yeah, yes I am. Like,
Well, I can probably compare it to other visas because there is also this H1B visa. And actually, there were a lot of people who applied for this visa. So, what did the United States? They created a lottery, and there's just, I don't know, but probably right now the percentage of winning is just 30%. So it's like a real lottery to get H1B.
Mhm.
Other, if you want to work in the United States, you can also get probably L visa, but for this you have to work abroad in the same company, which like for me as a dancer, it's quite impossible because to be true, I don't have a company. And what's also like about this visa is that, of course, you need an employer. But for example, for my case, I'm as an athlete, I don't have employer, I have agent. So it's agent who promotes me as a dancer. So it's also quite probably not obvious for everyone, but it's also like a point. So it's not even a company; it's just a person who really promotes me. And so like,
Wow.
look, this is Anna. She dances. She can dance here. She like wins this competition. So and it works.
That's interesting. Have never heard about it.
Yeah,
Like that instead of the company, the person can invite you. Wow,
That-
like
that's interesting.
Actors, photographers, models. So it's kind of like artistic
Oh,
visa.
right.
There is also L1 visa, F1. So that's like if you study, for example. But there are also, I think it's only 20 hours per week that you can work.
On
And
campus.
yeah, so it's not, I would say, very flexible. And if you want to get a job and to stay for a long time, so I would say I've decided not to take this chance.
Yeah. So from what I see, O1 have a lot of advantages, despite it that non-immigrant visa, but you can apply for EB1 visa later, and it will be easier for you to get EB1 if you started from O1 visa. And what other advantages? You can officially work here, like legally work here. You're
you can travel.
extraordinary.
Sorry, you can travel back and forth. So yes, so
Yeah, you can travel back and forth. That's a huge advantage. Yeah. And in terms of timeline, how long does it take for them, for you, like girls, to process this kind of visa application? How long did it take?
3 months of preparation of the case for me, and we applied, and like in 3 days we've got an approval. So yeah, I remember this day, like my lawyer, he called me like late in the evening, like at 6:30 p.m, something like this, and I was like, oh my god, why did he call like so late? I mean, maybe something is wrong. I was so scared, I was so like, yeah. And he was screaming, like shouting in the cell phone, like, Hannah, can you imagine? You've got an approval so soon. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even find proper words what to say. Yeah, it was really quickly. In my case, I don't know about other people, but for me, it was pretty shortly.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah.
How it was for you, Vera?
That was the same. That was like the lawyer said, it was very quick. It was so preparing, it was 3 months. Then we applied, and I was paying for preliminary, but as I mentioned, it's 2 weeks. But they made an answer in 3 days. And also, my lawyer, she messaged me like, she's saying, how do you feel there? And I'm on the call in Zoom, and I'm thinking, oh, fuck, something is wrong. And I was like, I was trying not to look at the phone, and I was thinking like, oh, I'm still on the call. Let me just breathe in, breathe out. And then I saw like she's messaging more. Like she said, now you would feel better. And then I stopped the call and I said, hey, can I just check it out? And then yeah, I was jumping. I was so happy. No, it was. I would never forget this day because when you apply, it's also very um, very hectic. Like you don't know the answer. So sometimes they ask more documents, papers, and everything, and it takes so much time and energy. So it's also that you don't feel a relief when you apply.
Yeah. Anna, how it was for you? Was it fast or it
Yeah,
took
so
more
for me,
time?
the process was much longer because the same, like we prepared with my lawyers the case for around 3 months. And then we applied for premium processing, which usually takes 15 days to get the answer. And straight after 15 days, as I said, they sent me a request for additional evidence. So, and the thing was that it seemed to me that they answered, and in their answer, I saw that they didn't actually look into my application because I don't know, like they didn't see obvious things for me, like newspaper, like there is no newspaper. So I guess it was just for them a problem of time because I got my visa in December. So it was September, October. A lot of people they cannot actually do this all at one time. So I guess it just took additional time for them to look into my case. So after I guess 1 month of again preparing this case for lawyers, adding more evidence because you can actually add more evidence. We sent again the case to the service, and I guess in 8 days they approved it. So the whole process, I guess, took half a year for me. Yeah.
Which is also not bad.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another advantage of O1 visa, so it's quite fast track. Well, I have a question for you. You already passed this journey, and meanwhile you was preparing your case, you had months of uncertainty. You didn't know if you're gonna get the visa or not, what to expect. So how you deal with this time of uncertainty, with these emotions? Anya, wanna share?
I'm smiling because I was thinking the first answer is I was drinking. And the therapist.
And the therapist.
Or drinking was therapist.
Like a nice combo.
I can tell that as a professional coach, I realized, I understood that I need to use some coaching tools. And when I just came to the United States and when I made this decision about immigration, I found on the Facebook in the group the information about coaching program for immigrants who recently came. And it was really helpful for me. So I realized that I'm in the same boat as everybody else. So I feel these fears of uncertainty, but all people around me feel the same way. And it helps somehow. And it's very important to find the shoulder to lean on. And lucky I am that I had lots of friends, even in Belarus, they supported me. Almost every day I had calls, video calls, Zoom calls with people from my home country, and they were telling me, so we believe in you, so everything will be fine. If you need some support, if you need just to talk with me, so just text me. We will find proper time, and we will I will support you. It was really great. And also I have friends here in the United States who also supported me on my way. So this supporting surrounding really helps. And what else helps, I think, when you're trying to build your like everyday routine. So try to do everything something similar. I had every day in the evening, I was trying to meet the sunset on the Bay Trail. So I live by the Bay Trail, and it was so beautiful. And I have my favorite bench on the Bay Trail, and I used to go there almost every day, and it was like habit, like part of my daily routine. But it helped me to feel that I can control at least something. And also my eating habits, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the same time. It also makes you feel like you can control something in your life. So it's not like everything is uncertain in your life. Like you have still something which is certain. So,
Yeah.
and it really helps.
Wow, that's amazing, and I think it's universal piece of advice for anybody who is moving to a new country or trying to set up a new routine, just to take control of something, of some part of your life. That's really good piece of advice.
Yeah,
Thanks.
repeat it, create and repeat some actions, and doing these repeated actions, it helps.
Yeah. So your brain become calmer. That okay. I
Yeah.
have a routine.
With me, the
Vera.
same routine. It's somebody also shared with me that you should focus on your routine, and it helped me a lot. Like exercises, meditation, breathing. I have a friend dancer, not you, Anna, not yet. And I remember he told me, Vera, like no matter what is happening in your life, just do squats, and your ass will be always good. That's the best advice ever. That's what should I do. So I was doing squats. Like I'm feeling no matter what, I have a good body.
I love it.
Like even if I would leave this country, my body would be good. So I was
Wow,
thinking,
that's cool.
yeah, so routine helps a lot because there was not only fears about visa, but I think, I don't know if you had it, and it's the same. One of my biggest visa was that I can't plan anything. I don't understand how to make money here. And I don't know how I can maintain here myself because the prices are like twice higher. What can I do? How can I get clients? You can't work when you're applying for the visa. So it's really that it just, everything is uncertain. And, but at the same time, I would say I have some playlists with the songs that are saying like let everything go and feel free. The good part of it is that I would say this feeling of freedom when you don't have place to live, but you don't know what will happen tomorrow, when you don't know anything, I would say this is the biggest freedom I ever felt in my life. And there is something exciting. And I thought if I would go through this, then anything happens in my life further, I can go for that. So it just a kind of a different skill that I'm working on. I mean, it's not that I was so smart at that moment. I mean, it's easy to say when you passed it, but at the same time, even now, if something uncertain happens, we feel like, yeah, just focus more on exercises, just focus more on what you're eating, or just focus more on your bodies that really give you energy. Cancel all the people in your life that draining your energy. It's just like very easy and small steps that everyone is doing, but when you feel it's so crucial for you, it's just easier for you really to focus on that.
Wow. So we already have a routine. We already have like changed the focus and focus on something you can control and something you like build this resilience and skills to enjoy the freedom. Anna, how you deal with uncertainty?
Well, I guess for me is what's already Anya mentioned was society, because I came to United States as a tourist and then I converted this visa to O visa. And so I was waiting for my decision for this long period of FE and so on in the United States. And actually, what I especially probably like in San Francisco is there are a lot of immigrants. So I found a lot of support from the people because they understand my situation. Like I'm not the only one. Like everyone is dealing, I don't know, with visa or with green card. So they're all in the process, and it really supported me. Like I started feeling that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who has this problem. So it was very supportive for me. But still, yes, I was very stressed. So, but I'm a ballroom dancer, so I can deal with it through sport. Um, probably routine, but for me, I guess sport works even better. Sport and talking with other people. So it's really important to share your thoughts, to share your concerns, and never hide it inside yourself.
Yeah, that's very valuable piece of advice. Like, just don't hide it. Don't stay by yourself with your emotion. What's going on? Yeah. So I have another question for you. It's also related to talent, to being talented. How are you nurturing your talent? Because I think it's a never-ending job. So how to continue, how to maintain this talent inside of you?
It's a hard one, Kate.
I know.
I think that, again, practice makes perfect. Just do what you love to do, what you think is important to do, and try do it like day by day, like constantly. And what else? For me, is very important to have the purpose of what I am doing. I mean, the vision and value of what am I doing. And as soon as I have it, for me, it's, I wouldn't say easy. It's not easy, but when you have a goal and you know the value of this goal, and you know, you understand really why you are doing this, why do you want to achieve this, it really helps. And you just do. You just wake up in the morning, and you understand that you need to create some actions to do some steps to get closer to what you want to get. And yeah, it helps. Also, I think that what also helps to me is developing of creating state of mind, let's say like this, because I love everything which is connected with creativity, with art. And this creative thinking helps to think outside of the box, and to when you think about your goals, and you can like imagine how great it will be when you will achieve it, like to create this focus and motivation of the goal. And it helps to be sticked to the decision you've made. And yeah, so creative thinking and some dedication helps to promote your talent, your like accomplishments, skills, whatever. Yeah.
I have only
Wow.
a small, also a small piece of advice. It's, I think, really important to reflect what you did. So because all these achievements like O1 visa, it usually happens so fast and just you cannot process it. So to stay focused and to like continue nurturing your talent, I think it's really important sometimes like to sit and just okay, I already did this, like, oh my God, I'm good. And then you can move on. So it's also very important to process all the feelings, all achievements, so all what you done, because I'm sure there are a lot for
Yeah.
everyone.
I think it's the problem of all high achievers. It's like never enough. You can stop. You can't rest and enjoy. You just need another mark, like done, done, done. Vera, how is it for you? How are you developing your talent?
I don't know. I don't feel like any talent or kind of special.
Come on.
But I would just say I think everyone is different, and it's just something that you can't keep calm. Like it's yeah, I'm always curious. I always like that's interesting. Like you always want to go further, and I always wanted that. I know myself a year ago, and I want that. I know that for a year, and it was like kind of all my life that I know that. Oh, I've done it. Like comparing myself to an older one. For me, I would say maybe nurturing myself, its practices of gratitude gives me a lot. I do it every morning. It gives me a lot of energy, understanding that you are already rich, you're already happy, what the people that you around, that you have in your life, it's so much. And I would say that gives me energy, a lot of energy. And another thing, I'm talking a lot like in projects and everything. And for me to having solitude and having like emptiness around me, keeping silent, it gives me also a resource, a lot of kind of resource. And I actually just was listening to meditation. I really love the app Calm. There was Matthew McConaughey, and he was sharing. I like this phrase. I wrote it down for myself. If you don't know how to rebrand yourself, unbrand yourself. Like just take a
Oh,
break with everything that you are doing. Just take a break. And I really liked it. I think sometimes we're on our way in life, like we've done something and we just like keeping the path what we were doing, but actually maybe we want to make a different direction, but we're just not brave enough. But I think this unbranding, keeping silent, making breaks, I think it's actually gives you a lot of moments of self-reflection and understanding yourself. So yeah, I mean it works for myself, so and I would love to share.
wow, I love it. So with the O visa, you just rebranded yourself and you started a new journey. I
I'm
have
still
very
I'm still on the way. I don't know. Some people are telling me what I'm doing, and sometimes I'm just saying different things because I still don't know. I know
I'm
what I
reinventing myself.
I know very well what I can do, and I know it's actually I think it's a lot of things, but what I want to do, I'm still asking myself. I don't have a clear answer.
What I want to do when I grow up. Wow. I have a very last question for you from the audience, and let's try to keep it very short. What scared you the most in your journey? How did you battle your fears? Just maybe you can mention one fear and how you battle.
So,
Interesting
okay,
one.
how I usually battle my fears. The best way for me is to face this fear, because when I'm trying to hide from the fear, it just take a lot of energy from me. It just I'm losing energy when I do nothing, just have a fear. So when I okay, so what scared me the most on my journey? So probably it was the thing that um, I lived on my savings. I couldn't work as Vera mentioned. So while you're on a tourist visa, you cannot work officially and officially, like you cannot get money. And it was really tough for me because I realized that I spend lots of money from my savings and I'm just losing money like every day, and there is no guarantee that I will earn this money afterwards. And for me, it was the most stressful part, probably, because I feel extremely unsafe. I didn't get the money as I used to do it, like every month. Yeah, so I didn't know what I will get in the future, and it was really really risky. So how did I battle this fear? So how did I face with it? So I just, I as I said, I had a lot of support. And my friends, my parents, people who are really close to me, they said, like, Anna, don't be afraid. You won't be homeless person in the United States. In case if you will like lose all money you have, like we will help you. At least
Mm.
to buy a ticket, go back to your home country. Like so, and I was relaxed at this point because I knew that even in case if I'll be out of money, out of my savings, so my I have people who can help me, and that's really important to know that you have like yeah the shoulder to rely on in this financial situation. It was my
So
biggest fear.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Anna, how it was for you? What was your biggest fear?
I guess, as I said, it was for me waiting for this response for RFE. So it was just too long time for me. Of course, it was not that long, like not 3 years, but still probably even this day when you submit your application and you wait for 15 days and you can actually check online if like they approved your visa or not. And so these 15 days were the most awful days in my life. I couldn't like sleep, I couldn't, so it was really scary. But like, okay, if I do not get visa, what I'm gonna do? Where will I move? Like I already told like everyone that I'm moving to United States, like, okay, so what I'm gonna do with my life? um I don't know actually how I battled my fears, I guess, through processing, through talking with people. Yes, so, but it was really, really hard for me. So, yeah.
Thank you. Vera, do you remember what was scary for you?
Yeah, I think there were a lot of fears. Um, I felt very unconfident in the beginning and still sometimes now because as I realized that I felt rather accomplished woman when I was in Russia in Moscow. Like you go to the events, everyone knows you, you have clients or that. You felt like needed, I would say. And here, like in one moment, you become no one. No one knows you. You come to the event. You all the time is speaking about yourself from the scratch, and like just this feeling gave me unconfidence in myself. And it took time to understand that it's not because of you. It just takes time and everything. But I would say it was a bit tough. I think it's easier if you are 20 or 25 because you just don't think about this. But getting older and older, I think it's getting more difficult. And another, the biggest fear and feeling of unsafety was a financial issue. I spent all the savings for was lockdown. I paid my team because we were before lockdown. We were all our events were in person in Saint Me, so it was a big deal when lockdown happened. So just not understanding what you can do, what you can't do, trying like to counting every dollar and just living completely different life that you were living before, that we were mentioning before in conversation, that you were counting money. Oh, should you get the bus or like should you walk this distance? So that's I would say not an easy thing. But my coach friend, she told me this called ego humbling process. So now I call it that way. I think it's a very cool name of it.
Fancy name.
Yeah, because you really have your ego and just working with this. I think it's a great practice. I'm very grateful for that because yeah, like reinventing is not easy thing, right? You need to go through the challenges and to feel that you have this ego, like, oh, that was that fear. We go on. Like it's always um, making and having peace in yourself. That was, and still sometimes now I can't think someone is saying like, oh, even in 5 years, like you would have this. So it just, but when you're not prepared, I don't know, there are pros and cons when you get prepared or if you don't get prepared. Because if I would know that so many difficulties, maybe I would not be so brave. But yeah, there were a lot of fears.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I have a very last question from me because we are talking on this channel about careers. What piece of advice you can give to young professionals in terms of developing their career? Who want to start?
Let me start. Yeah. I I like to be the first. Like, okay. So I would say that it's important in building the career to focus on building the network and to create, let's say, your power map. As I said, like think about people who is important, who is valuable, and who can help you to move forward in your career. But on the other hand, you never know which connections might be helpful. So it's better to have uh, uh, as much as possible connections. The second advice is to develop your personal, like kind of personal brand. Yeah, to leverage your potential, to try to invest in yourself, learn, study as much as possible, try to gather information. As soon as you possess information and data at a hand, it will be easier for me to make decisions in the future. Make some kind of reflections and try to like evaluate like yourself now and like few years ago, and try to like think what have you done, what in which way you improved your skills. So like, yeah, to focus on this. That's probably the main things from my point of view.
Thank
Maybe
you
you
so
can,
much.
yeah.
I want to add, Joanna.
Sure, Vera.
I know it's not my advice, but I really love it. Trying to find the leaders in the industry where you are or where you want to go, and actually message these leaders and trying to be close. You can be volunteering. You can be just taking like, I don't know, kind of pet projects for this person. Even if they're not answering, just keep messaging. There were some moments I was messaging like 10 times until the person answered me.
Wow.
So it just, and some PR managers told me that's even 50 messages, that's fine. Because someone thinking that if you message once, it's enough. No, it's not enough. And I think just being proactive, that's the first thing. And the second is, um, yeah, like I think networking, some people are afraid of this word, or especially introverts. But I think it's not that you're like, it's not that you go and build connections. Actually, no one knows you, but through connections, that's what's you making the life better on the earth. I think that's a different attitude to this. So it's, if you're going to someone, it's not that you are selling something. It's actually that together you can do more things. So more people you know, more things that you can create, think about, and do that. So I think this attitude actually helps more to connect, because I know a lot of people who are afraid of, and I'm trying just to change the view of that. And maybe it's all connected for me. It's also to get mentors. I mean, even four of us, I'm sure, could be mentors. I'm mentoring the people. So, and I messaged, there was on a conference, I just really liked one guy because he really did what he was talking about. And I messaged after the conference and said, hey, I'm just so excited. I have goosebumps. Can you be my mentor? And he said, I've never done it, but let's try. And I was like reading that, I was thinking, oh my God, I can't believe it. So, I mean, and a lot of people here in California, I would say in the culture of states, it's much more, it's also in Russian speaking communities, a lot of these things happens. Even in India, some of my friends. So you can actually ask to be my mentor, because therapist coaching, it's a bit different. Coach is also perfect, but some people are afraid like financially together. But mentoring, like being a mentee and being a mentor, I think both is important, and it's not that scary. You can always try. And even if 50 people said no, 50, 51st would say yes. So we just like making, I'm doing sometimes, you're making dots, how many people you messaged, and like, oh, no, 10 dots, then you should add. But it's like one sales director, he told me that because I told him I hate CRM, and he said, okay, just make dots. And I said, yeah, I have like colorful pencils. I like that. So it's not that hard as it seems to.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing.
Sure.
I need to message some people to ask to be my mentors.
Yeah.
Anna, how it was for you?
I don't know, like actually what chat because girls explained it, told everything so good, but probably I don't know from my point of view, is that you need to go public. So never be shy because I'm also an introvert, and I thought like, oh my god, talking with random people, no, I can do this. No, it's not so scary, and also probably a good piece of advice. I don't know, like you can chat with any people on LinkedIn. You can invite them to coffee, even if you don't know them. I don't know. Probably it's gonna be like HR who's gonna later invite you to your job. I don't know. Probably it's gonna be like just random person who will give you a recommendation later. So yes, very important to expand your network. And probably one more is about achievements because here in the United States, like as I said, publicity is very important, and I guess some achievements is also very important. So, for example, as we're referring to our visas, you need to gather all your diplomas. I don't know. You need to gather all the useful information which you might be need later. Like as Vera said about the articles, no one reads them. I understand completely, but when you apply it for a case, it's really useful. So try to gather everything as early as possible.
So true, especially now, like when you're online, exposed online a lot. So try to build your online personal brand.
Kate gave
Well,
your
thank
advice.
you.
I'm sure you also know it because you were also a leader. Share with us.
Well,
Yeah.
I need to mention that volunteering helps a lot in terms of building your career and professional at work. So my piece of advice will be just try to volunteer as much as possible in professional environments. So try to establish meaningful connections with another professionals. And if you're trying to figure out what to do next, if you lost probably or want to make a transition to another industry, just go to network, just start to ask people how they looks like, what challenges they are solving every day, how do they love it. So just to make your research and
And
try
you
to
can
make
make the first step.
hypotheses.
Subscribe for CPI now.
And this is what was my next move. So yeah, every Thursday, we are talking here about careers. We are meeting with working professionals and talking about how they are developing their careers here in the US. So I want to say thanks to all of you that you find time and donated your time to us, to our audience. And we're going to have more talks in the future. So please be sure that you subscribe to our channel. And thank you once again. See you soon. Bye bye.
See you. Bye. Thank you.
So much. It
For
was
inviting.
really great.
Thank you.
You.
Bye.
Thank you.